The garbage ship dropped its load into Earth's atmosphere without a second thought. For the Velker Empire, this blue planet was nothing more than a convenient dumping ground. The primitive species living on its surface had barely discovered electricity. They posed no threat. They held no value. Their world was perfect for waste disposal. Captain Terra'sWrath watched the massive containers fall through the clouds. Each one held broken machines, failed experiments, and outdated technology that the Empire no longer needed. The Velker had been dumping their trash on Earth for 300 years. The humans never even noticed. They blamed the strange metallic debris on meteor showers or volcanic activity. But this time was different. A young farmer named David Chen found one of the containers in his wheat field in rural China. The year was 1952. The container had cracked open upon impact, revealing strange glowing devices and sheets of metal that seemed impossibly thin, yet incredibly strong. David did not report his discovery to anyone. Something told him this was important. Something told him to keep it secret. He hid the container in his barn and began studying its contents every night by candlelight. David was not a scientist. He had never finished school. But he had something more valuable than education. He had curiosity and patience. Night after night, he examined each piece, trying to understand how they worked. The first breakthrough came 3 months later. David discovered that one of the small devices produced clean water when exposed to sunlight. It took dirty pond water and transformed it into something purer than any spring. He did not understand the science behind it. He did not need to. He only needed to know that it worked. David shared his discovery with his brother, who shared it with a friend who worked at a small university. Word spread slowly and carefully. The Chinese government eventually learned about the container. But instead of seizing it and silencing David, they made a different choice. They recruited him. They built a secret facility around his barn. They brought in their best minds to study the alien trash. This was the beginning of Project Starfall. Similar discoveries were happening around the world. In Brazil, a group of miners found a container buried deep in the Amazon. In Nigeria, a fishing village recovered one from the ocean floor. In Canada, a logging company stumbled upon one frozen in ice. Governments tried to keep their findings secret from each other, but humans have never been good at keeping secrets for long. By 1970, the major nations had formed a secret alliance. They called it the Earth Recovery Coalition. Their mission was simple: collect every piece of alien technology, study it, understand it, improve upon it. The coalition operated in complete darkness. Not even the highest political leaders knew its full scope. Only the scientists and engineers who dedicated their lives to the project understood what they were building. The Velker had made a terrible mistake. They assumed their garbage was useless. They forgot that what seems broken to an advanced civilization might be revolutionary to a developing one. A discarded power cell that no longer met Velker efficiency standards could power an entire human city for a decade. A communication device deemed too slow for Imperial use could transmit data faster than anything humans had ever imagined. Dr. Sarah Martinez became the coalition's lead researcher in 1985. She was the first to truly grasp what they were dealing with. The alien technology operated on principles that humans had never discovered. But that did not mean humans could not understand them. It only meant they needed to think differently. Sarah developed a new approach. Instead of trying to replicate the alien devices exactly, she focused on adapting them. She combined alien components with human engineering. The results exceeded everyone's expectations. Human creativity filled the gaps that alien precision had left behind. Where the Velker saw only broken machines, humans saw possibilities. The first hybrid engine was completed in 1992. It used a damaged Velker propulsion core wrapped in human-designed cooling systems. The original engine could barely move a small shuttle. The hybrid version could push a vessel the size of an aircraft carrier through space at speeds the Velker had never achieved with that technology level. This was humanity's gift. They could take the discarded and make it extraordinary. The Coalition built their first spacecraft in secret. It launched from a hidden base in Antarctica in 2001. The crew of 12 humans traveled to the moon and back in 4 hours. They planted no flag. They made no announcements. They simply proved that it could be done. More ships followed. By 2015, humanity had established hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and 3 of Jupiter's moons. They mined asteroids for resources. They built shipyards in the darkness of space. All of this remained invisible to the watching universe. The humans had learned an important lesson from the Velker. Never reveal your true strength until you must. The Velker garbage ships continued their regular visits. Their crews never bothered to scan the planet. Why would they? Nothing ever changed on primitive worlds. The blue planet still showed the same technological signature it always had. Cities with electric lights, vehicles burning fossil fuels, radio signals bouncing into space. The Velker saw exactly what humanity wanted them to see. Behind this mask, Earth was transforming. The Coalition had shared its technology with all nations. Old conflicts seemed small compared to the truth of their situation. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and the species they had encountered first viewed them as nothing more than a garbage dump. This knowledge united Earth in ways that nothing else could have. Former enemies worked together in the hidden shipyards. Scientists from every nation shared their discoveries freely. A new generation grew up knowing that their world was part of something much larger. General James Wright took command of the newly formed Earth Defense Force in 2025. His mission was simple: prepare humanity for the day when they would reveal themselves. That day was coming sooner than anyone had expected. A Velker scout ship detected an anomaly near Saturn in 2028. One of humanity's mining vessels had strayed too close to a patrol route. The scout investigated and discovered the truth. The primitive species was not primitive at all. They had ships. They had weapons. They had somehow built an entire space infrastructure without anyone noticing. The scout tried to flee and warn the Empire. It never made it past Jupiter. General Wright knew they had run out of time. The Velker would send more ships when the scout failed to report. Humanity needed to act fast. The EDF activated all its hidden assets. Thousands of ships emerged from concealed bases across the solar system. Defense platforms powered up around Earth. Weapon systems that had been tested in secret were now armed and ready. The Velker response fleet arrived 3 months later. 12 warships and their support vessels. More than enough to pacify a primitive world. Admiral Vorth commanded the fleet from his flagship. He expected to find a planet in chaos. Terrified humans fleeing from superior technology. Easy prey for the might of the Empire. What he found was a wall of ships. The human fleet outnumbered his force 50-1. Their vessels were strange hybrids of familiar and foreign technology. They moved with a speed and coordination that should have been impossible. Admiral Vorth ordered an immediate retreat. His ships never had the chance to turn around. The battle lasted 17 minutes. The Velker fleet was completely destroyed. Not a single human vessel was lost. The Empire had created their own enemy. They had armed humanity with the tools of their own defeat. Word of the battle spread across the galaxy. A primitive species had defeated a Velker war fleet using technology the Empire had thrown away. Other species began to watch Earth with new interest. Some with fear, some with hope. Many had suffered under Velker oppression for centuries. They saw in humanity something they had lost long ago: the will to fight back. Earth received its first diplomatic visitors in 2030. The Thrall Confederation had traveled for months to meet the species that had humiliated the Velker. They brought gifts and proposals for alliance. They also brought information about the wider galaxy. The Velker Empire controlled over 2,000 star systems. They had enslaved dozens of species. Their military numbered in the billions. Humanity was not impressed. The alliance grew quickly. Species that had hidden in the shadows joined Earth's coalition. They brought their own knowledge, their own resources, their own grievances against the Vulgar. Humanity welcomed them all. The discarded technology continued to flow. What the Vulgar threw away, humans rebuilt into something better. The Vulgar Empire finally recognized the threat in 2045. They gathered the largest fleet in their history. 10,000 warships assembled to crush the upstart humans and their allies once and for all. The fleet was led by the Emperor's own son, Prince Cordeth. He had sworn to return with Earth as a conquered territory or not return at all. General Wright's granddaughter, Admiral Lisa Wright, commanded the defense. She had grown up hearing stories about the first container in the wheat field, about David Chun and his curiosity, about the generations of humans who had turned garbage into greatness. She carried that legacy into battle. The two fleets met in the space between stars. The Vulgar came with ancient pride and overwhelming numbers. Humanity came with something more powerful. They came with every lesson they had learned from every piece of discarded technology. They came with innovations the Vulgar had never imagined. They came with the burning desire to prove that they were not garbage. The battle raged for 3 days across a front that spanned light years. Vulgar ships fell by the hundreds. Human and allied losses were heavy but sustainable. The hybrid technology proved its worth again and again. Weapons that should have failed performed beyond their limits. Shields that should have broken held firm. Engines that should have burned out kept pushing forward. Prince Cordeth died on the second day when his flagship was destroyed. The Vulgar command structure collapsed. By the third day, what remained of the Imperial fleet was fleeing in all directions. The unthinkable had happened. The garbage species had broken the Empire's back. The aftermath reshaped the galaxy. The Vulgar Empire shattered into fragments. Former slave worlds declared independence. New alliances formed around humanity and their coalition. Earth became the center of a new order. Not through conquest, but through example. They had shown that discarded things could rise, that the forgotten could become powerful, that garbage could build dynasties. David Chun's descendants still kept that first container in their family. It sat in a place of honor in the new Capitol building on Earth, a reminder of where they had come from, a testament to human curiosity and determination. The Vulgar had thrown away their trash without a second thought. They never imagined that trash would come back to rule the stars. The galaxy learned an important lesson. Never underestimate what the discarded can become. Never ignore the potential in those you consider beneath you. And never, ever throw your garbage on a world full of humans. They will find a way to use it. They will find a way to improve it. And one day, they will find a way to make you regret ever knowing they existed. Earth had built its dynasty from the stars' refuse, and that dynasty would endure for 10,000 years.